Hello, and welcome to Life Matters, the program where we engage life issues with critical thinking and a biblical worldview. Life Matters is an educational outreach resource of Assure Women's Center in Omaha, Nebraska. We're honored to host a variety of guests within the pro-life movement, each bringing their own unique perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds. The views and opinions expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect those of Life Matters, Assure Women's Center, or our affiliates. Our goal is to foster open, thoughtful dialogue around life-affirming issues and equip listeners to stand for life.
Welcome to Life Matters. I'm your host, Toni Clarke. As we close out the year, we're taking a moment to reflect on what God has done through Assure Women's Center and to celebrate the people who make this ministry possible. Joining me today is someone whose leadership and heart for life have made a tremendous impact, our board chair, Chris Cannon. Chris has been part of Assure's journey through seasons of incredible growth, answered prayers, and countless stories of lives transformed. Today, we'll talk about her personal connection to Assure, what drives her passion for this work, and her vision for the future as we head into a new year of ministry. Chris, welcome to Life Matters.
Thank you, Toni. Glad to be here.
I'm so happy you could join me. So, Chris, before we dive in, could you start by telling our listeners a little bit about yourself, your background, your family, and what led you to get involved with the Assure Women's Center?
Sure. I'd start by saying I'm an Iowa girl. I grew up on the east side of Council Bluffs and went to Nebraska Christian College, then Wayne State, and taught math over at Millard North Middle School. Then I met a godly farmer who also happened to be very handsome, fell in love, and married a cattle farmer and moved to Iowa again between Trainer and Carson. That was in 1991. Still substitute and taught math and tutored. We had 2 sons, and when I look back at those days, I will say I am so grateful. The gratefulness of that time very much overwhelms some sorrow we experienced later. It was just such a sweet time. Yeah. But the sorrow came when my husband, Jeff, contracted an illness that took his life in 2012. So, as you can imagine, very difficult. When I look back at it now, I just see all these people that God brought to encourage us and support us and help us on the farm. Still happening today. I mean, we still have Jeff with us every day in so many ways. But it was shortly after that I learned of the model that Assure uses in approaching women who are abortion-minded and how effective it was, what a difference it made. Really resonated with me. And I will say God spoke to me pretty clearly. The words were, "You can do that." And I knew the context was I was supposed to work to help try to bring that impact to Iowa.
Yeah.
And I called a friend, and she was awesome about the same cause, and we worked together. And it's been through a lot of iterations, but I will say God has definitely moved in Iowa through the ministry of Assure, and I've been honored to be a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that first meeting.
You do?
With you and Chris.
Yeah,
So
Chris. That's right.
So I was going to ask you if you remember when you first learned about Assure. So when you heard about the patient process, what drew you in?
Well, I would say the thing that catches a person's attention first is the success. I mean, we went from so few girls that are women that we were able to help to so many. And then the strategy that's used, the non-judgmental presentation of truth, letting truth speak for itself and letting the light just shine through God's truth in a way that comes across to the women as just their options. And when they see it, they can, so many of them are compelled to choose life.
Yeah.
But it's an approach that's really different from, I think, what was done before.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that really drew me to Assure specifically is the humility and the teachability of the people here, the desire to learn and adapt and change as we need to be effective.
Good. So what about Assure's mission to be the first step for women facing unplanned pregnancies by transforming their fear into confidence, by addressing their physical, spiritual, and emotional needs? and then giving them life affirming information that they need to make a life choice.
You got that down.
It's a mouthful. I kind of paraphrase a little bit, but what about Assure's mission resonated so deeply with you personally?
Well, I feel like God's children are so precious to him.
Yeah.
And Satan knows that.
Mm.
And so that is where he's choosing to attack.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we can just become numb to it and not really realize what's happening, blind to it. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, that attack on the issues of life and the value of life spins out into society through maturing and through the years into so many other issues, just about how we treat other people and how we treat people maybe with disabilities or things that we think make them different than we are. Even how we treat suicide or illnesses, we don't value life in the same way. And I think it all stems back to this particular issue. So I've been involved I was in Right to Life organization in Iowa in my early married life, but really feel like God called me in this direction. And I'm so honored to be here and thrilled to be part of such excellence here.
Well, we're glad to have you as well. So how has serving as board chair impacted your own faith or perspective on life and leadership?
Well, talk about humility. It's very humbling to look around the room and see these really effective servants of God that are sitting around the table and think that I'm their chair. I think more I'm their servant is what it is. But such an honor. We've got great board members and great staff to work with. So, but how it's affected me, I would say that I feel like I've learned that I don't have to be perfect in the job and that there are people all around me who I can call on for help in certain areas that I'm weak, and that people are grateful for the chance to just be here and serve. And I've also been really struck by the people that work here that see those women they look in their eyes.
Yeah.
I've been really struck by that because the few times that I actually see a client or interact with a client, my heart just breaks with empathy for their situations and the lies that they're being told, the problems that they see that look so insurmountable, that I know that choosing the opposite way of life, or I'll say death, is just going to lead to more heartache and more problems, even though at the time it might look like the easier solution. I look at them and I just want so much for them to have light and hope. And I know that the people working here see that every day. I have so much respect for that. So on the board, I've just come to really appreciate these people that work here day in, day out. And I hope that we can help just give them what they need to do their job well. Yeah.
And I say that I have learned a lot from our board as well. And you're right, we have some pretty important or just impactful people that sit around our board table. I tell people often we're blessed. We don't have a lot of board issues. You know, we have an amazing board that loves life and values life and loves the work of Assure. And we're really blessed in that area.
Yeah, that's something to be thankful for.
Absolutely, absolutely. For those who may not know, what does the board of directors actually do, and what's your role as chair?
All right. I would say our board basically gives guidance and support to the organization. Key areas would be advancement and development, donor relations, financial decisions, organizational strategy, like policies and things we need to do to just keep the organization headed in the right direction. General direction. Ultimately, we're responsible for the strategic direction that the organization goes. But because we have such a great leadership team and staff, much of what we do as a board is be a sounding board to the ideas that our staff has and the way that they've been led, because they're the ones with their hand on the pulse of what's happening day to day.
Yeah. And we certainly appreciate that. Once again, we just have a great relationship. And I feel like whenever there's an issue that we perhaps, something we encounter and we need guidance, We've just been blessed with different people in different sectors of
Right. Yeah.
society that we can, talk to, whether they're attorneys or whether they're physicians or construction. Our board is developed so that we can reach out to different people on our board that have expertise in those areas, and it's just really been good for us.
Yeah, we love serving you that way.
Yeah. So you joined our board, and you had a significant life change shortly after you joined our board.
Yes, I didn't really mention that.
Tell us about that life change.
So I joined the board in 2016, and I guess the long story short is I am now married again, and he is on the board at Assure. We definitely developed our relationship through being here on the board, and that's been kind of a fun connection point for people. There was a new board member that came on not knowing our situation, that each of us had lost our spouse, and he went home and told his wife one day, "I'm a little concerned. They're a little close in the board meetings," which I thought, what are we doing? But we must be making eyes at each other or something. But yeah, that's been a fun development. And I love that both Martin and I love this issue and love Assure and have that in common. So
yeah. Martin is known in the community as Marty.
Maru. Yeah.
He's been a pro-life advocate for many years. And so I just love hanging out with you guys, and people walk up, "Hey, Marty."
Yeah, I know.
It's really sweet. And I often say, if you are looking for a spouse, perhaps get involved with pro-life work.
You find good ones here, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Life Matters is the program where we engage life issues with critical thinking and a biblical worldview, and it is a ministry of Assure Women's Center. Before the year ends, you can make an impact for life. If we raise $500,000 by midnight on December 31st, some generous donors will add $75,000 more to help women find hope, truth, and courage to choose life for their unborn babies. Give now at firststeptolife.com. That's firststeptolife.com.
Welcome back to Life Matters. If you're just joining us, I'm talking with Chris Cannon, board chair of Assure Women's Center. We've been hearing about her journey of faith and leadership and how she's seeing God at work through this ministry. So during your time as chair, what are some ways you've seen Assure grow or change?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the update to the building.
Yeah.
That not only is about the building, it's about this building serving women and the issue of life in a way that I believe honors them and honors the issue. And it is beautiful here. And I feel like ultimately it honors God and his work. I also feel like raising the money we needed to raise for this project ended up bringing our supporters into a greater sense of ownership and community around what we're doing here. And so that whole process, while it was very challenging and for other people more than me, I really feel like it did a lot to move our organization forward and in our impact. I was also thinking recently we've made some strides toward reaching the Spanish community that I love. Since I've come on the board, the advisory council has started, which has been a group of people that we bring key issues to and get some great community feedback. One other thing I think that's tested our trust in God is we've lost some really important employees due to retiring and different things. And we have watched God bring up new people to serve that, I mean, you just can't even imagine that those other people could have been, I'll say, replaced, but it's handing the baton on to his work moving forward and to see God work through those hires and those individuals has been very rewarding. And I would say also another really big change is the way that we've had to reach the women to come in. And Assure's been very committed to finding staff people that were adept at the technology and social media and even billboard creation, but just creative ways to try to get to the people when they need us. And then I was also thinking, when I was thinking about this question, that there are ways we haven't changed. And I love the dependence on God's leading here, the commitment to prayer, the openness to maybe that we need to shift the way we're doing something if it's really clear. That's going to be an ongoing commitment that ends up being a true blessing.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say, sitting, listening to you talk, it's refreshing that our board chair has that much input, that you know what we've done. I don't know that every board can say that, that you're invested in the ministry of Assure. You're not just, your name is just not on our role. You are invested. You're working alongside us to accomplish those things. And I just, once again, I have a phenomenal board and phenomenal board chair, and just really blessed. And so I'm just going to say thank you again. I don't know if I say thank you enough.
Wow. Great.
Chris, are there particular moments or stories that stand out to you, like times when you thought, this is why we do what we do?
Oh, there's so many. We get to hear these stories at board meetings sometimes. They do end up shifting your focus to realize the real why behind this particular meeting we're having. But, well, just last week, you and I were at a dinner and we needed to leave. Actually, we were running a little late, and you had this call on you that you needed to go talk to some mutual friend that you hadn't talked to yet. And we were going to make a quick stop by. We had to walk across the room. Yeah. And when we got to her, who we've known, she introduced us to her friend, who ended up telling us that she had been a client here at Assure. Yeah. That because of her time here, she'd chosen life. Yeah. I left that accidental encounter so moved, because it was exactly what we're about. And God brings those people across our path.
Yeah, I love running into random people like that, because we don't always know, the outcome. And we stay in contact as long as they will allow us to. But when someone comes up and says 13 years ago, I use your services, like, wow, thank you, Yeah. And it's just, I feel like sometimes it's just a little gentle nudge from the Lord to say,
agreed.
I see you. I got you. You guys are doing a great job.
And to realize the life impact of those decisions when they have a better perspective on it down the road, looking back.
Yeah, she was at a life event.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. What would you say to someone listening who wonders if pregnancy help centers really make a difference?
Well, women who find themselves, many of them who find themselves in unplanned pregnancies, just have so few places to turn. Yeah. And we see it over and over again. And when they come here, we see them change from panic or a distraught mentality to realizing they just have decisions to make. They have a plan. Sometimes we have them come back to see the ultrasound another time or to get results, and they have a plan, and the peace that comes from that. I feel like a pregnancy center is a powerful light during a very dark time. Yeah. And we can step in and be available to these people when maybe they're just discretion-wise don't really want to tell many people, and we can step in and be that partner for them.
Good. Yeah. Chris, as you look at the pro-life work both locally and nationally, what are some challenges that you see?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the abortion pill. Yeah. And because it can be so secretive and drives these women into greater seclusion. And it's when you're isolated that this really circles in on you like a whirlpool in a cesspool. But the lies that they're told, and then they're told it in seclusion, even calling it the missed period pill. Yeah. And what that deception does to the value of life, like I mentioned earlier, I feel like that's a huge project that we need to be able to tackle on the horizon.
Yeah, so as you look at the future, what are some of your dreams or hopes for where Assure is heading?
Well, I hope we can have some breakthroughs with regard to teaching people about how dangerous the abortion pill is, and reaching girls that are considering that option through telehealth, through able to reach them through remote ways where they maybe don't have to come in. Yeah. So they can stay in their seclusion but get their help there too. I hope that we can continue to be a part of helping women make life-changing decisions in whatever way it looks like in the future. Yeah. And I hope that as we approach women who have already had abortions, we can help maybe with new ways to help them through their grieving and healing. That's something we've been talking about a lot, is sometimes there are barriers to the women that have had abortions to come in and get any help. And I hope we can figure out ways to break down some of those walls and really help them through some healing.
Yeah. One of the things that we say pride ourselves, not in a prideful way, but one of the things that I'm going to say drives us. We want to come up with innovative ways to reach the young ladies. And so many of the things that you said are on our agenda. How do we reach the girls before they take the abortion pill?
Yeah.
Or that young lady who doesn't want to leave her home. And it really does take innovation. And so I feel like that's where one area that Assure is strong in. We are always trying to think outside the box or think like she does. Because if we continue to do things the same way, we're gonna miss some girls. And so we're always trying to think of innovative ways to reach her.
And when we go to national conferences, I am very struck by the difference of what God's doing here. I mean, he's certainly working in other places, but uniquely here at Assure.
Yeah, I would agree. It's humbling.
It's humbling.
But also, too, I feel a great sense of responsibility for the gifts and talents that God has blessed Assure with, the ingenuity, the innovation, the resources. And so there is a great responsibility that I feel to use those gifts and those resources that God has given us to promote life, not just here in Nebraska, but, how can we help somebody else do what we're doing here, which is even a greater impact for life.
Yeah, God help us.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, how do you see the community's role, churches, donors, and volunteers in helping our vision become to reality?
Well, I feel like as a society, we can get so used to this issue that we stop being broken and concerned about it.
Yeah.
And I've seen churches that are kind of afraid of talking about the issue because it feels political.
Yeah.
But what it really is a moral issue
Yeah.
that has spilled over into politics. But the church is responsible for teaching about these moral issues. Yeah. And so for us as a church body or as the bride of Christ to keep this in front of people's mindset and remind people of how awful and the implications of it being so far reaching, I think is really critical. I mean, Jesus died for life, for our life. Yeah, and so it's certainly something that as his people, we want to keep front and center.
That's good. That's good. What gives you the most excitement or hope about the next season for Assure?
I would say knowing that this is the Lord's work.
Yes.
It's not on us.
Yeah.
My first thing I think of, the people, but ultimately it's God moving the people.
Absolutely.
Old people, new people, it's watching the new people that come in, and despite the heaviness of it, the joy that's here, it's inspiring to be here. Yeah. But I think it's because people here realize it's God's work. And he's the reason.
I totally agree. Even though I said I feel a sense of responsibility, I often say, God, this is your ministry. Except that you give me what to say or what to do, I won't know what to do.
Right.
So great reliance on the Lord. Yeah. We absolutely have to.
Absolutely, yeah.
Assure services are offered 100% free of charge to every woman who walks through the doors. Why do you think donor and church support is so essential to making that possible?
Well, God stirs his people to give. It's our job to respond. And without donor and church support, we wouldn't even be here.
Yeah.
I love the image of being a partner as a donor with whatever action my mission that I'm supporting is doing. For example, if I give to some mission in Africa, I'm maybe not in Africa, I'm not living in Africa, but because I've given to that mission, in a way, I'm helping to support the hands and feet of the people that are there. And it's a joy to be a partner with what they're doing. And so I feel like the same is true here, that everybody that contributes is part of being the hands of Jesus to the women who are at such a critical point in their life. It's a point that could be a moment they look back at as a life and death moment their entire life. And it's a moment they could be meeting Jesus for the first time. So the difference our churches and donors make is ultimately eternity.
Absolutely. Yeah. From your perspective, what is the theology of giving, and why do you believe generosity is such an important part of our walk with Christ?
Well, God does encourage us to seek treasure.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's interesting. It isn't like he tells us, don't seek treasure. He encourages us to seek reward.
Yeah.
It's just that he doesn't say, don't go after treasure.
Mm-hmm.
What he does say is lay up for yourself treasures in heaven.
Yeah.
He knows how he made us. He knows how we work, and he made us to want to go after joy and treasure. It's just that he knows our deepest joy on earth comes from partnering with him
Yeah.
and his work. It's joy on earth and it's treasure in heaven.
Yeah.
And he wants us to live for his glory. But when we do that, what's so cool is that living for his glory is also for our own good.
Mm-hmm. Chris, thank you so much for sharing your heart and for the incredible leadership you've provided as board chair. It's inspiring to hear how God continues to move through this ministry and how lives are being changed every single day. And to our listeners, thank you for standing with us. Every service we offer is 100% free of charge because of the generosity of friends like you. As we approach the end of the year, we invite you to join our year-end challenge and make an even greater impact for women and babies right here in our own community.
Life Matters is an educational outreach resource of Assure Women's Center in Omaha, Nebraska. To learn more about the ministry of Assure, visit firststeptolife.com. That's firststeptolife.com. There you can learn about the many services we provide, including how we come alongside abortion-minded mothers and empower women to choose life for her and her baby, as well as find our most current broadcasts and all of our past episodes. You can also find information on our website about how you can partner with us in the life-saving work of Assure. Before the year ends, you can make an impact for life. If we raise $500,000 by midnight on December 31st, some generous donors will add $75,000 more to help women find hope, truth, and courage to choose life for their unborn babies. Give now at firststeptolife.com. That's firststeptolife.com.